Manchester United taking on Newcastle away, and for me, a bit of a dead rubber for Manchester United, to be honest. I feel like we're going to finish in that top four now. Looks almost certain that Manchester United will, and probably get second position now. Barring a catastrophe of performances, Manchester United are definitely going to finish in the top four, and second position to me seems pretty good for Manchester United. Now, obviously, we still want to win this game and go out there to win the game, but we've got bigger things to worry about in the FA Cup and the Champions League now that we can't win the Premier League. Even to me, it doesn't matter if Manchester United finish second or third if we were to win the FA Cup, or even the Champions League get a real shock in that. I can't see that happening, but you never ever know. It is cup competition. But for me, the FA Cup sees Manchester United with their best opportunities to get some silverware. Manchester City probably got more their eyes on the Champions League, and obviously clinching that Premier League, they're going to be happy if they get that. So that's probably one of the back burners for Manchester City, because they've got the League Cup final as well. So that's probably their least of their priorities. So if Manchester United could win that, I think, and finish second, it would be seen for me as a great season for Manchester United. A lot of progress, but we've still got to do that. And if Manchester United can win the next 2 or 3 Premier League games, we could rest players for that game. Now, this game for FA Cup, we've got FA Cup obviously coming up next weekend, and the Champions League the week after. So if Manchester United can win this game, start thinking about prioritising them competitions. Now, this game on paper should be a Manchester United victory, but we know our away form has not been as good as our home form. But Newcastle haven't won at home since October. Hopefully that doesn't change tomorrow, and they don't come out and sting Manchester United. When we played Huddersfield away early in the season, they hadn't scored for a long while, and they come out and beat us 2-1. So we've got to be wary of this. But Newcastle are a poor side. Tactically, they've been poor this season. Got a lot of, for me, championship quality players, the likes of Dwight Gale, not good enough for Newcastle, and they're going to struggle to stay up this season. And I hope Manchester United can put a nail in their coffin in order to help them get relegated. Not really a fan of Newcastle United, and so I hope Manchester United can claim victory and move on. Now, probably a few changes will happen in this team, because he's probably got eyes on, as I say, we've got next weekend the FA Cup, which is more important to Manchester United, and the Champions League now, because that does via a chance of a trophy. But we've still got a week before the FA Cup ties. So what can I see Manchester United doing? Obviously, if the Champions League game was in midweek, he probably would rotate the squad and maybe freshen it up and play a few weaker team in this one than the Champions League. But obviously a whole week to prepare for that game. It's Huddersfield. Now, what do I expect Jose Mourinho to go with? Probably going to go with the back four. Obviously Dave will be in net. Hopefully we'll see Luke Shaw keep his position in the left back position. Obviously Valencia will be at right back. Then the 2 centre halves is anyone's guess at the moment. This is where the main problem in the defence is for Manchester United. You're not sure on them 2 centre halves going forward. If people pick a back four, then everyone's 2 centre halves is different. With Eric Bailly still out injured, he's probably going to play Jones, Smalling maybe. Both of them have come under criticism for their performances in recent times against Tottenham. Jones wasn't very good. If Manchester United are going to look to be challenging for that Champions League and major honours, we need to sort that defensive partnership out. Probably our best partnership, well, certainly is Eric Bailly, and Lindelof was the one that was supposed to come in and do that job as the partner for Eric Bailly, but it hasn't worked out as yet. I've seen nowhere near enough of Lindelof in that centre-back position, but he's probably not going to play this game either. Hopefully we'll get a chance against Huddersfield, but that's more of a must-win game than this one. So, and that is away at Huddersfield, which are a Premier League opposition. So if he rotates in that game, we could come back to bite us. But in midfield, he's probably going to go with a 2-man midfield again for this game. A lot of people obviously still crying out for that 3-man midfield. Paul Pogba, I reckon, will come back in alongside Matic. Now, the forward line is going to be interesting. Out on one side, it's going to be Alexis Sanchez. Out on the other hand side, will it be Martial, Mata? I'm going to go for Martial in this one with Romelu Lukaku up front. And whether it's Jesse Lingard in the number 10, whatever he does, if he's going to play the number 10, we probably will. I expect Manchester United to get the job done in this game. I can't see anything other than Manchester United win. I'm going to go for Manchester United winning this game 2-0. He could rotate the squad and play Marcus Rashford as well. We've got a lot of options for Manchester United in the attacking sense, which is good for Manchester United going forward, because the games are going to come thick and fast in this next couple of weeks with the Champions League returning. Hopefully Manchester United can be progressing in that as well, so it will give the likes of Marcus Rashford, probably Angel Gomez, Scott McTominay and them sort of players an opportunity to get some game time in the Premier League when we come up against bigger opposition in the Champions League and the FA Cup, which are of more importance to Manchester United. Anyway, let me know your thoughts on the game. Like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I'll talk to you all again soon.